Hi everyone and welcome. It's really great having you with me today. This is Blackberry. And Blackberry is one of my favorite of the berries. And I just love them. And this hard freeze that we had this year has made them, I think, even more prolific than normal. These bloom on the second year wood, meaning that the first year canes come up and you just let them grow. Then the next year, those canes bear fruit. And actually, they've come out so far, I'm actually stepping on them. These things grow wild here. This is just a wild weed, blackberry. I didn't plant it. They're all over my property. But what we're going to talk about today are the actual leaves. Blackberry leaves, at least the way I'm going to be using them today medicinally, are for a rather uncomfortable subject for many folks, but it's still one that has to be broached on occasion. And that's when we have tummy problems and maybe have to spend too much time on the porcelain throne. Diarrhea, not a pleasant word. Matter of fact, I'm going to let my teenager out of my brain for just a minute. I remember in elementary school, on a school bus, kids actually singing a song that some of you may be familiar with and others may be disgusted by. But I'm going to sing it anyway. It's very short. It's very disgusting. But I'm going to give it to you anyway. Diarrhea. Diarrhea. No pain, no strain, just sit and let it drain. Diarrhea. Diarrhea. Okay, that's it. I apologize. Okay, back to adulthood. Because it's not fun, and it is painful sometimes, and can be a strain for us in some ways, we need to find ways of dealing with it. And yes, there are medications on the market that deal with this condition, but we're going to naturally deal with it with blackberry leaves. That's right. Blackberry leaves work wonderfully as a form of, I forgot the word. It's not diuretic. I know the word. Well, something to help slow down problems that we may have. So because I can't cut with one hand and drop it in the basket, but I want to talk about timing anyway before we go further. The leaves are full of the best medicinal properties just before the flowers bloom, which is now. That's why I'm harvesting now. I could have done this weeks ago, but the leaves have even more, and I'll put the details on the screen, but they'll have even more of that beautiful constituent right before the flowers bloom. Now, once the flowers bloom, the leaves weaken substantially. So that's why timing is everything. So I'm going to go ahead and get these harvested, and then we're going to take them inside and put them into a tincture. All right. Let's go. Come on. That's a good boy. Barry and I thought we would show you before we go in the house. I was just showing you the blackberries. Well, these are another form of blackberry here, which have exactly the same medicinal qualities. Notice how these are in full bloom. And this whole area here is full of them, and I'll try to walk through without damaging them here. I have a pathway here. My shoe fell off. There we go. But you'll see they're very lush through here. That's because I don't mow this area. This is where my wildflowers will come up later. Several of them myself heal. There's comfrey over that way. We'll look at that maybe later or in another video. But anyway, these are blackberries too. We call them here in Texas dewberries because I'm not sure why, but they're much more low growing. But if you give them something to climb, they will become like the dewberries I was showing you on the fence. They sort of can decide how they want to grow based on their surroundings. So they make a beautiful ground cover if that's what they have to work with. And if they have something to climb on, like a little dog, you better move there before a blueberry or dewberry gets you. If they have something to climb on, then they change. They get thicker. They're just a completely unique plant. And I love that about them. Anyway, blueberries, dewberries have the same medicinal quality when it comes to the dreaded D. All right, so let's go on in and get to putting this together. Barry, come on. Hurry up. What's taking you so long? Dude, I've been sitting here waiting for you. Come on. All right, you're not in trouble. Okay, come on, let's go in. All right, now in this case, unlike many other concoctions I make, I'm actually using the fresh leaves rather than drying them first, because this is going directly into a tincture, which is already a water formula. It's quite all right. It will actually extract more of the positive constituents using the fresh leaves. These are already starting to wilt, so what I'm going to do first is to bruise them before I tincture them. What this does is it helps to break down some of the cells in the leaves so that in this case, I'm sorry, I don't have lights on. Get some light on the subject. There we go. It helps to get, let me turn on another light here. I just want to make sure there's plenty of light on the subject. This helps the alcohol to get into the leaves much quicker. There is actually a blade of grass when I was trimming some of the lower leaves I grabbed. These have some small thorns on them, but if you're very careful, it's not a problem. Always wash and dry your leaves first. Again, I'm just bruising these. I'm not trying to juice them. I'm just kind of beating up the leaves a bit. What this will do, again, will help the vodka. In this case, I don't have to use something like Everclear. This doesn't take nearly as high in alcohol content to break down and release those constituents into the liquid. That's one of the great things. Blackberry just has all kinds of wonderful aspects to it. You know, it's full of flavonoids, and I'll put, like I said, I'll put everything on the screen for you. But one of the primary benefits is its astringent qualities, which can help with things like if you ever have a mouth sore inside your mouth, sore gums, just simply rinsing with some of this in the mouth can really help relieve that. But taking it and swallowing it, using it as directed, it can actually help to stop diarrhea, because what it does, the astringent removes some of that liquid, making it, I won't get gross here on you, but it works. And there's actually there's science behind this, and I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video. So do look at the science, because you should never trust what I or someone else tells you about the great benefits of something without doing some research. I have a lot of life experience that I have not taken for granted. I do research these things further and make sure that some of Mom's and my grandmother's old remedies actually work. I look to see if there is science behind it. At least, you know, I have more of a trust, that's all. Not that I didn't trust them, I did. But it's just something that I feel strongly about, that we need to do the science and make sure we know what we're dealing with. So this is, I've already made up, I have probably a gallon of this, but I just wanted to show the process. Oop, there we go. Simply drop our leaves in. Shake them about a bit to kind of break them apart a little bit. Or you can take a tool of some kind and just kind of pick them apart. We just want to make sure that the alcohol can get in there, and then we simply add our alcohol. Do not use anything expensive. You don't need it for this. The least expensive vodka you can get is, I prefer to make sure it's a potato vodka. That is my personal taste. That is, if I can get Russian at a low cost, I'll get that. Otherwise, I get whatever is available. The whole, it's ethanol, right? It's just grain alcohol that is safe for human consumption. And you just want to cover the leaves. Oop, let me there we go. And then give it a stir, again breaking up any of those leaves. Oh, I'm sorry, thought I had that more where you could see it. But I'm just tossing the leaves about. I want to make sure they're all wet and completely covered. If you have anything that sticks above the surface like that, that's going to be subject to mold and bacteria, and we don't want that. So make sure that you keep them covered. It's better to have a little too much than not enough. And that's really it. I jar it up, and this will sit aside for up to 45 days, or it can go longer than that, but I like to get the leaves out because they get they start turning into a mush after that, and they're harder to filter out. So 45 days is good. And in the end, it's going to look like this. This is some that I made up from last year, from November, and you'll see it's much darker because as it tinctures out, as those ingredients are extracted, it just turns this nice dark color, which I don't mind at all. Because now keep in mind that a blackberry leaf tincture does not taste anything like blackberries. I'm sorry, it's a leaf. So it's along the lines of some of the other tinctures, like stinging nettle, wild lettuce. It can have sort of that green taste. I don't mind, and when you get used to it, it's not that big a deal anyway. And since this is more medicinal anyway, you only use it when you need it. So you just put it in your medicine cabinet, and whenever one of those times comes, when your tummy is feeling bad, add 2 or 3 dropperfuls of the tincture into a glass of water or juice and drink it down, and just wait. And you may have to repeat this a few times, depending on the severity of the condition, but it does work. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun putting it together. It's one of those things that I enjoy making because I know that it helps others. You have a terrific day, everyone. I look forward to seeing you back soon. Goodbye.